I mean, you guys, did you not read the blog? Okay, therein lies the problem. You just went, okay, how I can run a wing girl company and not feel like a sexist asshole. And actually, this was written before this date. If you click on the original link, you'll see it was written in 2012. Since helping to run PWG management, I've had the same question come up again and again. As a woman, how can you run a company that supports professional wing girls? Are you a traitor to your own kind? Some people even liken it to an escort service, and that would make me Heidi Fleiss character, which means I have to train Moxie not to eat 17 parrots soon. I will also be training them to sing the entirety of the Macarena, but that's another feat. The questions brought up a lot of important feminist issues. As a fan of Simone de Beauvoir and Camille Paglia, how can I endorse such an agency? And why don't I feel like a sexist asshole? Let's take a look. You are nothing like Charlie Sheen. So what is professional wing girls? So this is the original. You can click there to see. And yes, I used to smoke pot and write these. Good old days. Is a lovely, outgoing, and socially intelligent lady who is paid to wing for a guy. This means helping to talk to a whole room and introduce him so that he may feel confident and talk to people with ease. You watch the frog turn to a prince before your very eyes without so much as a kiss or flirtation, armchair finger comb. The man does not gain a direct boob touch, but rather a mental one. He instead gains a sense of confidence that shows him. With the right attitude, he can be seen as a desirable sorry, lost my place. With the right attitude, he can be seen as a desirable man, despite whatever obstacles he had let get into his head. The confidence he gains is not used strictly for the pursuit of romance or sex, but it allows him to also feel confident overall in his own skin. As a lady defensive of my own safety and well-being, I have been in a time with a gentleman term, I believe they call it a bitch, to men who try to approach me in the past. It has gone exactly like this. Can I buy you a drink? Yes, if you like wasting money. I'm a social butterfly. I was just trying to say hi. I carry bug spray. Would you like to go outside time? Oh no, I've already been out. Thank you. I usually end the conversation with a comment about having just roofied myself. As I was a defensive lady, I was not always sensitive to the fact that men do have feelings. And in fact, it's taken me really until this last couple years to process that fact. And so I assumed that whatever I said would ultimately have no bearing, but I've learned the opposite. Through stepping into the world, men do have feelings. They fear rejection. They want to be accepted, loved like we do. I know, mystical, eh? I know it seems just like a super glued a horn to a horse and called it a unicorn, but it's true, some men do give a shit. Now, this is not just to say that all men have the purest of intentions. Some men calibrate their love formula to synchronize with how many times they get laid, helps them feel wanted on planet Earth. But then it's just like how many women put a lot of stock into being desired. I hate your fucking good deeds. Fuck you. Now, many feminists get uneasy with the idea of paying a woman on any level for her beauty. I can't help but think of the feminist bookshop on Portlandia where they said to the customer, Steve Buscemi, trying to pay them for a tea koozie away from the register, Carrie, this is not a back alley hooker pimp transaction. Steve, do I look like a pimp to you? Carrie, when a man pulls out money away from the register, I have to wonder. As an ex-model, I, for sure, had the same mental dilemmas frame by frame. I'd be mentally nerding out on the sociology of what does it all mean? Which is exactly why all my photos look like I'm about to axe murder the photographer, and ultimately my own hang-ups about my own sexual ownership limited my openness. But those are my hang-ups. Capturing beauty is not necessarily degrading. The beauty of true freedom is what we're all given the right to decide on what our values are. We as individuals assign our own values onto everything. Ultimately, there can be no pain felt in an area that hasn't been already damaged. Not that I'm suggesting playing into the damage, but I'm saying it's all about perspective. Not everyone feels degraded by such things. A flower is a flower. Our values call it beautiful or declare it a weed. It's all just perspective. There are two very strong reactions from the potential wing girls. No way and how fun. The girls that sign up don't view it as degrading, and I in no way am spending my time trying to convince others. If it's not for them, then why would I want to try to force it on them? It would be a disaster, just like putting Janine Garofalo in a pink dress and asking Pamela Anderson to become a nun. These girls that want to sign up are relieved to know that finally someone has screened them for their personality and social intelligence and not just their looks. They love that they can finally have a voice in opposed to just them hanging out on a wall or silent arm candy. Being a wing girl is more honest display of something that goes on all the time. Men ask women to join them in the club because it makes them look good, helps them get in, and attracts others. Women might agree because, well, there's a few free drinks and maybe even like their company a little, and trade offers us an easy way if any unwanted attention, since, you know, Greg right there is your boyfriend. The transaction goes on in silence and both parties understand the trade and neither wanting to admit it. Wing girls just ups and focuses the rewards on the trade. The man gets the full attention of his wing girl and she gets money to buy her own drinks or copy of the second sex, whatever she wants. This transaction, he admits her power, admits she is a leader, and trusts her to provide for him. In turn, she generally has his best interest in mind. But I think there's more. But I think where most opposers have a problem with the service is because there's a level of dishonesty. Had the man had a friend who organically wanted to wing for him out of the goodness of her heart, I don't think anyone would have a problem with it. But the use of money seems to take away some of the heart from the trade. Feminists might say that this use of money to utilize beauty perpetuates the lack of agency a woman has. However, again, her beauty would simply not be enough to be a wing girl. No matter how beautiful you are, if you have the personality of a troglodyte, you aren't a good wing girl. I can't say that every wing girl has 100% pure intentions in signing up. Their intentions vary. Some genuinely do care about helping a man gain confidence. Some care about getting paid. But both parties unanimously end the night with excitement, talking about how great they felt about the job they did or the service they received. And that's true. And that's what's interesting. These girls do get into the spirit, whether it's because they appreciate their power being utilized or because they love watching the man come out of his cocoon. Ew, sorry for that awful visual. So, what about a woman being tricked into falling for a guy? Come on, guys. What is this, 1906? Shall I grab the smelling salts to awaken you from your fainting spell? It would actually be sexist for me to assume that women have no agency in decision-making. That we're all fair maidens who sit like apples on a tree, fearing the arm that extends towards us. A wing girl paves the way for conversations to begin. She helps minimize the condescending, prescriptive rejection speeches, and then it's up to the man to present who he is with that gateway. The other women will ultimately decide whether or not she likes that when they start talking. Now, since the confidence is about 90% of what makes someone desirable, he is gaining a huge advantage, but ultimately she has to be compelled by who he is representing, not just that he is able to represent. I think we've all seen examples of overly confident people who aren't necessarily our heart's desire. The situation, I'm looking at you. You are pretty much limited to the reproductive pool of those who own bumpets. Yes, it's a part of our reptilian brain to compete with the other women who want the men who have been selected by them that affects us. It's true. We can make decisions, but we can still make decisions, not gator-like decisions. I realized this and gave up the whole thing when I realized I was rubbish at doing push-ups on rocks and slithering around lisping in the grass. Only led to expensive laundry bills. We are people. This is a chance for the women to see the men when he's confident, and a chance to not push him away with threats of bug repellent or a bear mace, which actually gives someone a chance. It's a chance for the room to give him a chance. They watch him put his best foot forward and ultimately decides if he might be a good match as a friend or more. He becomes more desirable because he has a woman looking out for him, but there's really nothing wrong with that. But Tara, the service is inorganic. Yes, it is. I really can't argue that. It's a hired service with professionals. It's true. Other inorganic things include your cologne, flashy shirts, whitened teeth, bumpets, push-up bras, pickup lines, the hula chair, Kegels, tired conversations, and an aspect of ourselves we find best to highlight or hide. But what's also inorganic are the lies that we believe that make us underconfident to begin with. Not believing in yourself is the lie, and that we all learn. On some level, we all buy into these lies of things we think make us not good enough to be loved. He is able to shed the lie and see himself as socially good enough, and by the end of the night, he can even believe it. If he's lucky, he might find someone who believes he is too. What? It comes from a silkworm. It's organic. Okay? You guys? Who else will be fucking writing me on my company?